There we go. All right. So let's talk about some deliverables in terms of how do we go ahead and do the best job? Because like Shaw, you already have some interviews going down. Kaiser, you already have some interviews going down. And this is actually, we're going to be posting this thing up on YouTube in a second. But like, let's think about it this way. Our intention is to score a job, right? Our intention is to go out there and score a job. And we want the highest paid product manager job in the shortest amount of time possible. Okay. So those are the two kind of like main objectives that we have. And in order for us to accomplish that, we need to create like some familiarity, likability, and credibility with the hiring manager. So they got to first know us, they got to go ahead and trust us, and to a degree, they got to like us. In order for us to go out there and accomplish that, what we really want is a hiring manager, a director or head of product, and a hiring team, the lead engineer, the UX researcher, the product designer, and all that. We want them to be very, very, very pumped up about hiring you guys immediately, right? So we don't want to just demonstrate qualifications. So this is what we're going to do. The two of you are going to go ahead, in addition to, are going to go ahead and do the following deliverables. And we're going to go out there and because I think you guys all want to get a job like within 2 weeks. And then I think, and honestly speaking, we can. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to record one YouTube video. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, but we're going to record one YouTube video on how to write a PRD with AI. And we have a lesson of that in the AI curriculum with Durer, right? So we're going to record one video with a PRD. We're going to create one video with the product roadmap. So how do you write a product? How do you go out there and roadmap with AI? You're going to create one video on user persona. All three of them are in the AI curriculum under the introduction to AI product management in module 1 of the AI curriculum. You guys are going to have these 3 YouTube videos. And when you're done recording it, you guys are going to post it. You guys are going to send it over to me to review. And I'm going to go out there and critique it. The next thing that I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and send in the following prompt. I want you to make a list of the biggest challenges, the biggest day-to-day challenges of a head of product in 2025. I want to know what are the biggest challenges that they're most likely facing on the job as a head or director of product or chief product officer on the job, and what challenges are they facing most likely off the job, and what AI side projects that I can create to demonstrate I can help alleviate that pain. In addition, I would also like a list of YouTube videos that I can use to highlight how I can address these challenges for me to record. So why do people enroll with Product Gym, right? Like, why do people go ahead and do that? It's because they see these calls where we're giving out this live advice on YouTube and they're like, oh shit, it's freaking legit. So when you guys are talking about like, you know, there is this fallacy of seeming perfect. Like, if somebody sees somebody where they're trying to juggle taking care of their family and applying to jobs and learning new skills and launching, an app or something like that, they actually resonate with that individual so much more because they're also juggling there's going to be hiring managers out there that are juggling all those challenges too, right? So the requirements, the legitimate requirements of the job is beyond the job description right now. You have all this other bullshit going on. Why do you think we have so many Asian Americans that like enroll? It's because they're like, that Chinese guy gets it, like we have a lot of Koreans here too, because it's like, yo, I'm trying to get back to Korea too, man. Like Like, so you have all these different challenges, right? How do we want, instead of like, how do we get a product manager job? I want us to think about ourselves as a product. And it's kind of like we talk a lot about Korean entertainment, right? They freaking dominated all over the world. Like their stock is going up. The question we need to ask ourselves instead of how do we get a job at Google is how do we want the Google hiring team to feel about us? And I think the question really begins with something very basic. How do we not want them to feel about us? We don't want them to feel that we're just another person that just needs a job because we don't have one, right? We don't want them to feel that we are not qualified. We don't want them to feel that we don't know, that we are not willing to put ourselves out there. One of the biggest problems with like right now, Meta is doing like a hiring program right now, the rotational product manager hiring program right now. They're going for their run, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, how do I get this job?" No, 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 no. It's how do you want Meta to feel about you? That's how Apple looks at a product launch. Is how do we want them to? You know how many people for years, not so much now, they're just like, oh, like everything a Mac can do, a PC can do. Yeah, but what looks cooler, a MacBook? It's a symbol, right? It's a status symbol that I'm part of this tribe. So off the top of my head right now, you guys should actually make a YouTube video on the biggest hiring challenges for head and director of product and talking about a lot of those challenges. This is actually what I talk about in the application mindset module. You guys can make so much content off of that. You making a video on like a third of the hiring managers in technology right now, in product management and technology, is actively going through a divorce or has a partner or has a romantic partner that's been impacted by the layoffs, right? That will make you hotter than Pendo ever can. So you're going through that shit. I mean, crap, Kaiser, can you imagine doing this shit while you're going through an active divorce? I've had to work with guys like lawyers, people from like VCs where somebody on the team is going through a divorce. It's not fun. Like just splitting up assets and shit. Or like breakup, you guys are living together. Like, damn, dude. It's like, what are you, a psychopath? You can't like freaking just remove that and like, oh, be a professional, right? So make a YouTube video on like what are take the application modules and like make a real video about like they're the real victim. I mean, well, obviously they still have a job, but the people that actually have a job right now, they don't really feel emotionally, they're not exactly feeling that much better than people that don't have a job. The only difference is they have income. But they know they can very easily get taken out anytime right now. Right? Anytime, right? Um, so that's also kind of like another reason why, and everything ties together, why people that are showing money making AI side projects. So talk about that app because chances are they're thinking about this, they're thinking the same thing about where you guys are thinking too. Like we talk about like, when did they get into tech? What was the atmosphere like at that time? That was the BlackBerry era, that was the Dell era, that was the HP era, right? They just freaking look at it like this golden era, like I'm I'm gonna be a part of this act, and then they're here. So like make the video about the roadmap, user persona, and PRD so they can also see how it is that you guys are communicating, right? I'm going to give you guys critique on that. And then after that, you guys are going to come back and you guys are going to drop those videos as well. you know? And now you guys are going to be able to show them like, yeah, I teach this shit. Like, oh, so that makes you a much hotter candidate, right? Instead of like, wow, you're going through these like freaking slides and stuff. Like, let's talk about like, we're in a live combat scenario right now, too. We don't have time to pull out the book, The Art of War, and start reading from chapter one. Because you got to look at it right now from the job perspective. Like, if if you're OpenAI, right, and DeepSeek, this is the third week of January, 2 days before Chinese New Year, and DeepSeek just said Happy New Year to you. You guys gotta remember that,
Yeah.
right? Like, what was Jensen mindset like when 48 hours he's like, that guy's always in Taiwan for Chinese New Year, for Lunar New Year. They're like, we did it with $6 million. You know what that cost him? That cost him $600 million in market cap. Like
Mm,
that.
mm,
There is no, like, you're not pulling out the lean startup. You're not going on Amazon looking for some book to buy to navigate that situation. We're in the battle right now. You guys are in the battle right now with me, right? So
yeah.
to make those 3 YouTube videos, I want you guys to make an empathy video. And then also the next thing that I want you guys to do is I've uploaded onto the Instagram module under branding. You guys have been the most consistent. I mean, look at you guys are here Thursday night. Well, Kaiser, you don't have an excuse, but like, look at all the people that are like, they're all on my IG. The people that are in this program, I know who's drinking right now on Thursday night. They're like, oh, Rich, the weather's nice. Summer's about to be over. It's like, I met this new guy. It's gonna be our third date. Oh, Rich, it's like my girlfriend really. Yo, man, what you think I enjoyed recording 70
Like this.
over the weekend? I'm in freaking Korea too, man. Shit. Was I at the Kanye West concert? Like, but like, yeah, this is like a business, right? You gotta have priorities. I also have like Korea's a hot destination now, so I have a lot of friends that fly in to come see me. So I know if I'm not working one weekend, that means the weekend before I got to go out there and do this. So you have a lot of people that are like, oh, but yeah, is the market really that brutal, or is it a time management issue, right? The
Yeah.
next thing that so under the Instagram module, I want you guys to start recording the news instead of just posting it up there. I want you guys, just like that girl Zowie Talks, like start recording the Instagram. So when they see like, oh, Kaiser, talks AI, or they see like Shaw talks AI, and they're like, wow, it's like the T app, like, oh my gosh, Replit was like deleting, like, you know, they need to see you. How do we want these people to feel about you guys? We want them to look at you guys like a resource. Right now, every single day, like I told Kaiser here about Replit, you didn't even know, but if you Google search Replit, it's like, oh shit. They almost IPO. Thank God they didn't. They'd be tanking harder than BlackBerry. Like the freaking AI agent was deleting freaking files for a law firm. You know how this is why the best people and the worst people for us to work with are lawyers. Because I was like, you think I would you selling enterprise software to a law firm, that is the worst client you would ever want to fuck over. They have It's like being late on your food delivery to the US Army. They got so much ammunition to come after you. It's like, oh man, I drove back immediately to the office. I told everybody to head back over there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's bad. It's real, 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 real bad. So like when you post up shit like that, and I gave you guys like Zowie Talks, I think she just makes it very simple, just one thing. Like she literally just made a video today. So Mark Zuckerberg is halting. You don't have to sell anything. You're just giving away information, right? Mark Zuckerberg today is halting like AI hiring, and they're kind of scaling back. And this is why I think like a lot of people that are like, they're like, Rich, can you like tell us more about like getting like a meta rotational product? Like, yo, this guy just spent 16 freaking Leo Messis. You think right now their priority is hiring the next rotational product manager? I mean, probably not, you know? If there was like if North Korea decided to invade Seoul tonight, I don't really think getting you guys a PM job is like exactly like, what do you think I'm gonna do? Vlogging? Yo, so 10,000 North Korean troops just crossed the border, but I still got you guys. Like, come on, man. Like everybody right now is probably thinking to themselves whether or not they're gonna have a job at Meta. right? They're probably not really that focused. Like the fact that you don't really have that level of common fucking sense, this kind of signals to me like you're probably not going to be a really good product manager here because you're not looking at this whole thing like holistically. That's why like they always ask that question, and I find it so baffling why like what's your favorite product? It's just like asking a like Anthony Bourdain, he goes to Tokyo, like what do you guys eat on a night off? Like you know, like, well, we're making sushi for 18 hours, so the last thing we want to see is a dead freaking fish. Yeah, they're like, we're gonna take you to a really nice spot. And then they took them to McDonald's and like, what, you guys come here? And like, yeah, man, it's like the last thing we want to eat is Japanese food after like 18 hours times six times 9 years of your life, right? Like what burger do you get? Not the filet o fish burger either. Right, like, but like just like the fact that people like they just don't have that like emotional common sense, it kind of just tells me like if you're such a turn off for me to talk to, you're probably not building shit that people actually want to buy. Especially right now that everybody's strapping to their freaking like wallet. There is a reason why like Parasite was an Oscar winner and why the Koreans chose Parasite to be their Oscar contender because they're like poverty is a universal theme that we can all relate to. This family that's just trying to make it, and they are like, no matter how hard they're working, it just doesn't ever seem to be enough. This is something that like is beyond a language and culture. Like everybody, not 8 out of 10 people are feeling that. Like we're working hard, we're trying to stay positive. They'll go to like a PC cafe to go out there and make up a freaking university degree, right? They're not stupid people, but like it's just never enough. And there's only so much time, but it's never enough. Like there's a reason why they chose that, right? You have to have some of that user sense. This is actually why launching a side project that can collect cash, you're signaling to them like, holy shit, like you pulled $200, you're probably smarter than any one of these Stanford or Harvard grads that we have here. Because, you know, it's like friggin' like you're out of touch with people. That's what they like. That's you guys ever watch the show Succession? They're like, no, there's this one like you guys heard of it, right?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's basically like the Murdoch family. He's trying to pick an heir to the family business, and he's like, "Which one of my kids are going to run the business? How much is a gallon of milk?" And people are, his kids are like, "Dad, that could be I don't know, man. It could be anything, dude. I mean, who knows the answer to that question?" He's like, "I don't have one guy here that can take over this business." Because if you can't relate to the American people, he's like, we're making news for the average American person. He's like, how can you not know what a gallon of milk costs? They asked Bill Gates that question too. That was a troll. They're like, how much is a banana? And he's just like, $20. Like, it's like, yeah, like
Yeah.
why would he know that, right? If you don't have that level of just like common sense, um, so you got to split up your time. You guys got to split up your time applying to American roles. Canadian roles first, American roles. But like, here's the reality. I want you guys, what we talked about in our previous call, we're just the boys shooting the shit. I want you guys to really think when you're seeing that role, I want you guys, this is the whole exercise for the AI news, is I want to train you guys to see opportunity. And I think that is a legit superpower of being able to, what this white guy told me is called smelling the money. Like I just saw the opportunity with product management, you know. I just saw the opportunity. Like, okay, yeah, it says like it's 110,000 Canadian, but I have a feeling I can go out there and get it up. I mean, there's people doing that shit all the time. You would have to do it for your own business anyways. Right? So like that's a muscle that you have to like actually stretch. Like nobody likes working out on abs. I mean, shit, I don't. Like you have to like really stretch it out. So the deliverables very simple. And then the last thing here is your application schedule versus your YouTube schedule. So to like everything comes down to your schedule. Being depressed or being unmotivated is a time management issue. You know, that's why Trump said, work so hard where you don't have time to be depressed. I believe in that. I'm going to go ahead and record these 3 YouTube videos: user persona, road mapping, PRD. What you guys have to do and you guys are in the same time zone, so you guys might as well just get in on it at the same freaking time, is watch those modules together. Okay, if you guys want like a buddy system, and then like put together a you like you guys have that right now. Now you guys can go out there and put together that YouTube video, send it to me for critiquing. And then now we're going to do a much more polished draft of it, but you guys got to get it out there. You're not going to make this one roadmap video, right? Right? You guys are going to make multiple roadmap videos, and you guys are going to do that. And you're going to give yourself 45 minutes to do it. That's it. If it gets like, that's the thing with like Elon Musk, he runs 5 minute one-on-one sessions. You have 5 minutes to come and tell me what is it that you're doing? What is your blocker? What are your suggested solutions? And I'm going to go ahead and ask you, what is the business impact? And I'm going to go out there and give you some of my suggestions and off. And by the next time I come see you, you better have something better to go out there and show me, or you don't deserve to be working at one of the Elon Musk companies. He did that shit 7 days straight for like, I think 12 hours. And this is like, what are the underlying problems? What are the underlying problems? What are the underlying problems? With you guys, I got to do like a 2 hour fucking therapy session from all this unresolved childhood trauma. Fuck,
I'm not depressed, man. I'm doing fine.
I'm not saying you, I'm just saying like the general group. The
Oh, okay.
the other group of assholes that are like the market's bad, but I'm like, if I posted up
Chilling at a bar right now.
market's bad at freaking Jay, market's bad, Rebecca, Mark. Yeah, I was like, this is why like the whole reason why our business is more successful than every other product management business is that when you got to put this shit out on YouTube now, you're accountable. People pay money to be here. Results have to be delivered. This is like, the restaurants that kill it, it's all open kitchen. You can see everything that's going on, and there's no Gordon Ramsay in the back yelling and screaming and shouting at people, right? It's like that would fuck up the vibe. But you see the whole fire, you see the whole staff, they better be laughing, having a good time. Food's got to come out. The kitchen's got to be immaculately spotless, right? That's like we're putting it out there. That's why like, and they modeled that after the sushi restaurant. Like, you don't see these Japanese guys like, I mean, shy of you coming in, they're screaming eat a shy, but like you don't see them like, you know, you don't see them like, yo, Ichiro, what the fuck? Tempura.
Yeah.
Like they're not like they don't need to do anything,
Yeah.
right? It's just calm, cool, collected, clean. Everybody's having a good time. And then in the middle of all that, they're doing sake shots with the customers, right? Right. And they're like, the first Japanese chefs to go to like a US like Michelin, Western Michelin circuit, just like, what is this freaking, what are we going to war here? I mean, what's all this yelling, screaming, and shouting about? It's mad and necessary. The Chinese kitchen's even simpler. They got the wok and they got the chopping board. That's it. Get them in, get them out. This does not require any of that shit. So you got 3 YouTube videos you guys got to go ahead and do for those 3 things. You got 1 YouTube video where you guys are talking about the biggest challenges. Okay. And then you're going to go out there and talk us up about some big news that's happened. So what are some big news that you guys can go out there and rip right now? Number one, I'll give you guys 3. That's going to make you guys look way more interesting to go out there and talk to right now. Big news number 1, AI hiring is being halted at Meta. You guys should know that, right? And it'll drive like that's reality. And I think that kind of also signals like they want to hire product managers that are thought leaders. It's like, like what do you, so they, people that are doing it, they're having conversations with them about that with people. They're just like, well, what do you make of all that? What do you think? People they want to hear. When I talk to VCs, they always ask me that. Like, what do you think, Rachel? Like, well, I think AI is actually really overhyped. A lot of companies are still very slow to adopt. You have a lot of really good, essentially user generated commercials on Instagram that are making these AI tools look like they're doing a lot more than what it actually is. And people are catching on. Every one of these tools have a free subscription, just like how even Netflix has a free 30 days to see if you like the shows that they have on there, right? And people are finding that it's actually more difficult to use than it's being advertised, which makes them feel real. And either you're lying to me and it's actually easier to use, but I can't figure it out, which means I'm feeling really stupid, or it's actually much more difficult to use and it's actually being shown. in which case I feel like I'm being lied to. Me feeling stupid versus me being lied to are not two emotions that you want your customer to go ahead and feel. And that's where I feel like our app, our conversational AI app of actually helping salespeople cold call better should not, it should be very transparent how it's being used. And we should be very transparent about the difficulty level and what we need to address. But also, we should be very truthful about what it can do and what it can't do, because then we're just going to be like every other conversational cold calling AI app that's saying it can do this. Companies are signing up for it, and they're just like, yo, this is not doing what the fuck I saw in that IG video when I was coming out of the sauna today, right? It's like, oh, this person's actually showing me they have a fucking brain. That'll make it easier for you to get Canadian roles. That'll make it easier for you to get US roles. A role at a shitty company versus a role at a good company is actually the same thing. Because at the end of the day, they're trying to assess competency, right? Like, are you a thinker? So, like, that's the fact. So I was like, you guys can go out there and make a thing about that. The second video that you guys should make is, did you guys know China just came out with this AI, like a robot to go out there and give birth to children? You can actually put a,
What?
yeah. Kaiser, you heard about that, right? 1.4 billion people wasn't enough. You guys needed more people. This is very. We'll see who wins the AI war now, America. So this is huge, right? This is actually huge, and I'll tell you guys exactly why it's huge. Because most of the developed world is trying to fight the population decline. Japan's been trying to fight it, and they have, unfortunately, like a good anime, not been very successful at reversing this trend. Korea is trying to fight that problem too. It's got the lowest birth rate right now in the world. China is facing the same problems because once your economy hits a certain level, having kids just become burdensome. Kaiser's like, you telling me, man, shit. I had a cup noodle today for lunch. No breakfast and no, I'm not trying intermittent fasting. But like, if we made a video about that, it's like this is gonna have huge implications because this is effectively they're gonna be able to produce more children, and you need more kids to have an army, you need more kids to have a workforce, you need more kids to have a consumer base, right? Um, I just came back from an AI conference in Thailand, and like I saw so many Japanese business people there, and they're like, I saw the wives that are pushing the stroller, like they legit live there. Like Japan's investing more in Thailand than in themselves because they're like, who are we going to go out there and sell to? Old people don't spend money. Young kids, like, we're not buying like Coachella concert tickets, right? The younger kids are. So this is like a freaking huge trend. Um, and I think the third video you guys can go ahead and make a video on right now is also just talking about like, how do you go out there and show you have consumer sense or like consumer empathy? Is talking about some trends. One of the biggest trends right now is hard alcohol sales has fell 70% across the world. And these like I saw this in Hong Kong, I saw this in Seoul, I saw this in Tokyo, I saw this in Bangkok, I saw this in Singapore. I know they're doing it in New York, I know they're doing it in London. But these like early morning Sunday coffee shop raves has replaced the Saturday night club scene, right? Like they'll just bring in a DJ, and like it's kind of cool because you have a demographic, and I'm not even talking about just for religious reasons where they don't drink alcohol. Just people generally speaking don't enjoy drinking alcohol as much. This could be because of like money issues or like they just don't want to stay up. But they're prioritizing, I think, wellness because these wellness retreats that I've seen in like Thailand and in Bali, they're crushing it. So it shows that people are willing to go out there and spend money. They're just like, where are they choosing to spend money? So showing hiring managers too, like this is a much more fun conversation to have, right? Because all you're trying to study all day, all they do at Google, Amazon, Meta, Netflix all day is like, where do people want to spend money on? Where do people want to spend money on? Where do people want to spend money on? And how do we go there? Right? Like where are people like what is the consumer behavior? Like how do you demonstrate that? You demonstrate that by just three Instagram videos like a day, and then that gives you guys much better sense. Um, if I'm gonna throw in here two more things that you guys can go ahead and do, which is why I watched the end of this YouTube video as we're doing the recap, is also like making a like having that very clear schedule, but also having a backup schedule. And you guys can make a video about that too, time management. Everybody's time management is horrible. It just seems like you have the worst one, but like honestly, like I talk to startup founders all day. I'm in the group chats with them. They're my boys out here in Asia. And like everybody doom scrolls, everybody spaces out. There's just some times where you just feel like it's not even worth it anymore. Trust me, I'm not like I don't wake up and go, product management, Chicago, here we go, let's go out there and crush it. It's like I gotta like
Pick
I
yourself up.
I mean, dude, shit. The people ask me like, I did an entrepreneur talk here. They're like, "What's your morning schedule like?" And I was like, "Not cold plunging, not manifesting. I wake up, I grab my Instagram app, see my friends in New York and LA or wherever the hell they are in the world. They'll share some degen videos and post with me. I'll share some degen videos with them. But like, I was like, that's also my form of social connection. I'll go out there, run this call afterwards. I have a lunch meeting with the freaking team. We talk about like what is it that we can go out there and improve. um, I get a lot of ideas just from talking to you guys. It just clicks for me, and then I'll go out there and record content, right? So I'd say like you guys have to have like a schedule, but make a video about how it is that you're managing your schedule. People want to see more vulnerability right now. So it's vulnerability is not a failure trait, it's actually a success trait because like I've always just told myself like how I feel is how the market's feeling. Like when I first started this business and I was just talking to people at Whole Foods in New York, I have the customer empathy of them like I knew I can get people jobs and I knew I was really good at selling people, but I didn't know how to find the customers and the leads. And I'm talking to all these people that know YouTube, Instagram, Google, and all that because it doesn't mean anything if you have a really good restaurant. If customers aren't coming into your restaurant spending money, you're not going to have a restaurant for long. And what I realized when I talked to job hunters was like they have actually the same challenge just in a parallel universe. Most people, given the shot, even if they didn't have the experience, they're smart enough and they have a strong enough work ethic and standard where they can figure out the job. Like if your company moved you to product management today, like you would figure it out in 30 days. And the truth is most people on the job, they don't know what the fuck they're doing anyways either, right? Most people don't really do that bad on the interview once they actually get past the recruiter and start talking to people about who they're actually going to work with, not the recruiter. Their biggest problem is I don't have fucking interviews. Most people don't do that bad on the date. They have a problem getting dates, right? So like I'm trying to figure out whether or not this YouTube guy's trying to lie to me if I'm getting ready to spend money on him. So they also have the same feeling when they're coming to see me. So what do I want to see from that person? How do I want to feel? And I also think about like who are the people that I've chosen to work with in the past. But when I first started, I was like, they don't know me, I don't know them. Um, and what ended up happening was like because I kept it more real, just like how you guys right now are trying to figure out this whole Canada situation. I was competing out there in New York with no money. Plus, I was never a product manager in New York City where anybody can take the train up and down Manhattan. And there was a lot of people that had a product management background, effortlessly spin up a website. They can say they're a product manager on LinkedIn. They were coming out from top companies and they've been product managers and they can teach product management. Who won? But I didn't win because of my background. I won because of like empathy. So you guys have your standing deliverables. This call is going to get uploaded in about less than 1 hour. I hope you guys wrote it down to make sure we're all on the same page. What were the
Yep.
deliverables that I just gave out to you guys?
So video on how to write PLD with AI, video on how to write roadmap with AI, and a video on how to create persona all with AI. Yeah.
Yep. And then after that, you want us to make a prompt, make a list of the biggest day-to-day challenges for the head of product, what he'll be facing in 2025, or the biggest challenges they'll be facing on the job, or challenges they'll be facing even off the job, and what kind of AI side projects that we can create to demonstrate and help alleviate that pain.
Good. And then I want 3 Instagram shorts about the recent news. Number 1 is AI Meta is halting hiring. Number 2, the Chinese baby robots. Number 3.
Right.
I'm gonna post it up on my IG right now. But I'm just gonna share it. But the Chinese baby robots. And then the third thing is like people are spending less money on alcohol. I want you guys to post up the recap on WAP so the other people can see it. And so I know you if you guys missed anything or not. But like this is just very I would say my final takeaway, and I think you guys feel a little bit better after this call, right? The final takeaway is like when I'm on a call with somebody, like I didn't enroll Kaiser or and I didn't enroll you Shop, but like the way that I try to train even my own admission staff across all programs is stop thinking about how you're going to get your next commission check and start thinking about like how does that person get the best value, right? Because when you're thinking about yourself, you're always going to find something that's wrong with you. And that's not really a good way to start off the day. And it's gonna not make for a very fun job hunt, right? When I'm just talking to people like these coaching calls, I'm actually just like I'm actually just pumping myself more up. Like after I have lunch, like go out there and work. Because I always feel better doing a coaching call. This is like a coaching call actually for myself. Because I'll whip out all these like stories that I remember, right? I'm telling you, dude, coaching is like I actually tell like a lot of founders that are in this business, you guys should do more coaching calls because like how much more of an impact are does the customer that's watching YouTube see like, oh, the CEO of the fucking company's out there, right? I was like, you guys are always in the back working on all this shit nobody gives a shit about, right? You guys not only have to record the curriculum, you guys have to like, I was like, you guys like delegating, but people want to see the face. People want to see like Napoleon was able to rally his troops because he's out there fighting with them, right?
Yep.
Right. So like when you actually putting yourself out there, people feel better about like, there's no way I'm going to be on these fucking calls 4, 5, 6 days a week and nobody's getting a job. It's paid out 7,000 US. But like, like how do you want the person to go out there and feel? That's something I took away from my executive coach too. They're like, stop thinking about like what is it that you want to have? Like so many founders, they'll be like, oh, I want a Ferrari or I want this trip. Like, no, 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 no. How do you want to feel? Because like a Ferrari is not gonna make you feel better. New house, maybe if you have family, right? Mortgage paid off, that would probably make you feel better. So get out there, create that freaking content. And I think content is really good because content, you gotta be engaged in content. So you're not having the time to think about other weird shit. If I'm doing really deep work and I get distracted, I'll just start fucking recording content. Because like when the camera's on, you just gotta go ahead and go. And I think for like Kaiser and Shaw, both of you, make a video of you applying. You know, like make a video, put it all out there because here's the thing, the more you're putting yourself out there, the more trust, like Tiffin Tech, she showed like I can't get Ruby on Rails. Like she's showing it, right? Why do you think like 60% of your questions are behavioral questions across all jobs in tech? How do you deal with a challenge, right? They don't really know. Like Kaiser, you're a dad, so I'm assuming that you live in Toronto, you have to buy a car, right? Even like my friends in New York City, when they have a kid, they have to buy a car. You don't really know how the car is going to perform until the snow really hits, especially in the East Coast, you know? Like, you don't really know. Like, when they're making, like, the more you're putting out there the struggle, a lot of people, they decided to enroll with our program because they saw how much the program changed from January, February, March, like this entire year. They just kept watching this shit, right? That fucking game plan from like freaking Valentine's Day is not going to work now. Like they saw us, we kept on evolving, 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 evolving. That's what got me a founder team spot on Dojo. They're like, instead of some guy that's just like, I have a track record driving revenue. We don't know if it's like, I want to believe you. How do I know it's going to work here for us? But when they're seeing that journey of like the pivot, the pivot, the pivot, the pivot, they're like, okay, that guy Rich, that's the guy that we want to go ahead and work with. So vulnerability, so many people, like, I'm not talking about just any one person, but I get like a lot of people that send me freaking like DMs like, Rich, can I grab you for like 5, 10, 15 minutes? It's never 5, 10, 15 minutes because I talk too much. But I was like, all that shit should just be on fucking YouTube because that's what they want to see, you know? That's like K-pop right now, they used to just show, even K-pop, they used to show the finished product. Now they are showing the whole process before they even officially debut. Like the people that are like fucking leg injuries, like freaking all that, like you're now invested in these characters. You want them to freaking like debut, right? They've been like creating, they have fans before they're even official. Um, that's also the founder model right now too. Vibe code, I talked to you guys about that the other call yesterday. The creator founder model, that's also like you have to think about it like that for your thing, Kaiser, is like they cracked the code. They created their customer base before they even had a product. So when they had a product, this is actually why the astronomer CEO, within 24 hours, he got hired at Andreessen Horowitz because whatever company that he's about to be a part of next is going to get hyped. Astronomer CEO has now been attached to a new startup to help create US babies with, USA robotics. Like they're going to be like, it just gets attention. He had so much attention on Astronomer, they hired an extra 37 salespeople within a week because people are like, what's Astronomer? I was like, dude, I'm in this business and I'm from New York. I was on my founder group chats. I was like, let's be real. We never even, somebody just gives, they deserve to give that guy a raise. I was like, we didn't even know who the fuck Astronomer was. And we're in the business. Now everybody's talking about Astronomer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like all that shit, you guys should just go out there, make freaking content. Um, you guys are gonna be fine. I've been here for 8 years. You guys are going through the same shit. Um, you guys have your marching orders, post it all up on WAP, so I know that you guys know what we need to take care of. Just get that shit done the next 24 hours because you guys can. Shouldn't take you a whole week. Get it done within 24 hours. Let's see who gets it first. And then like the first person to get it done, we go on a fucking one-on-one roadmap call on like how to go out there and launch your freaking app. But that's honestly the secret is like create your following, you know. Freaking
Two questions.
shoot.
Where do you want us to post this? One.
General announcement.
And okay, got it. And second thing is, I had a question about resume. I had a mock interview with ex senior director of Amazon, and he's like, your fucking resume is messed up because it says you're product manager, but you're a software engineer, and then you want to get into product management. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so like, I didn't really know how to answer that. And truth to be told, like, I don't know why I'm doing it either.
Got it. Well, you can keep it software. Well, like,
The
did
way
he?
I have it right now, the way I have it right now, like, is this. This is what he told me. Like, just put it with product manager responsibilities. It sucks on the ATS, but like, is that fine?
Right here. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, the first things first is like, all right, so pull off the screen, and I'll just talk to you about this. The first things first is like you got to go ahead and tell yourself is that ex-director of product at Amazon, honestly speaking, like I don't know what he's doing right now, but if he's that legit, I almost guarantee you I make way more money than that guy, for one. Number two, you're not the first software engineer to take this program. You're not the first software engineer to transition into product management.
No, of course, yeah.
And number three is when I always hear that advice, I'm like, okay, if he was to get a product manager job right now with no networking, I would like to see how long he would last before he calls me. You know, getting the product manager job, it comes down to a time management issue, and it's about your controllables. If you guys are hitting your numbers, which is like 30 Canadian, 30 US a day, like this is a data-driven market. At the end of the day, it's those outcomes that we're looking for. The way that I blow up 8 offers is not because we're more strategic about like, oh, what kind of content that we're creating. At the end of the day, we create 100 pieces of content off there. Like, we're gonna go out there and get X amount of results. This is why, like, I talk to you guys about like, I'm probably on paper the most unqualified guy to coach people to get a product manager job because everybody else has been a product manager in this business. But yet I'm the longest running, most profitable guy in the business with the most. Where are your testimonials? When USA Today ranked us as number 3, they're like, nobody does this shit, Rich. They're like, nobody is opening up. I have screenshots of how the WAP curriculum looks like on my LinkedIn post. They're like, nobody does this. And I was like, honestly, I think it's because of my Asian background. I love how a sushi restaurant is just set up. It's totally transparent. You know if there's a cockroach there. You know if there's like, somebody out there is having a cigarette in the back. It is totally transparent. And if you're totally transparent, at the end of the day, you're just going to go out there and win. So like when somebody like that tells me like, yeah, they have all these legacy like job hunting tactics, then why don't you make your own product, Jim? And let's just see how it works out. I've challenged publicly product school. I was like, you guys should completely open up your dude, AI is full open source. You think Chinese are playing by the rules? They have a whole nationally funded hacker team out there. Right? So like I was like,
I'm not even joking. He actually is like that's what he's doing. So he quit his job to do this. But like I just need affirmation from you. Just
yeah,
like
100%.
tell
And
me
that's
like
what
ignore this dude and just
no, no, no,
like
no, 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 no.
keep
Yeah. That's why the other call that I'm actually not even gonna post up that other call anywhere, not even on WAP, is because like we're talking heart to heart, just the 3 of us. That's why I made
yeah,
it
yeah.
here. Is like
Gotcha.
the application module with the 17 lessons, like in terms of like the mindset, we talked about this, like your mindset's the most powerful thing. I think like
Yeah.
what separates the great athletes, it's like the game, the thing I talk about with like Bill Gates, right? The inner game of tennis is like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watch that golf show on Netflix or like the F1 show on Netflix, Need for Speed.
Yo, my guy, I have no time for anything. I've just been
I'm a
doing
film
this
miner.
shit.
I'm a film miner, so right? But like like in the show, like where they're talking about like F1 drivers, it is the probably like the most mentally insane freaking like I think sport out there because you could die. Those cars are going really fast, right? So when they're telling you like you're too old, you're done, like all that shit, they like all these athletes they spend the most amount of money on their mindset. So like the affirmation,
Yeah.
never apologize because like the affirmation is so important. So actually that's the bonus assignment that I forgot to talk about is all of your negative affirmations, all of the negative self-talk that you're telling yourself, I'm Canadian, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have this background, I don't have enough time. Whatever it is, like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing here? Oh my gosh, these roles, everything that I ever say to myself that's negative, everything that I ever say that is negative, I have to, number one is you can't hit anything that you can't see. You have to go ahead and write it down and you have to go ahead and tell yourself something. You have to tell yourself exactly what it is that you're saying. And you have to amplify exactly how nasty that thing is. And then you know what you do? You got to go ahead and you got to tell yourself something else that's believable, and then you go ahead and you record a video off of it that you can listen to all freaking night. Like you go out there and you have to like tell yourself something. Um, yeah. So the affirmation 100% because you got to feel like when you're coming into this, you got to feel pumped up. For me, it's music. So I put on a song that just makes me like from freaking Korea to Hong Kong, dude. These grandmas out here just straight stuffing food into my system. So easy, like, and like I freak out, just eat it all. Like, and I don't really want to go back to work, right? So I got to go for a walk, and I got to go out there and account for that. Like, bro, you're not eating no chicken breast salad in Hong Kong. You ain't eating no chicken breast salad in Korea either. Stop lying to yourself, dude. Like, you have to have like You know, so I have to have a game plan, right? Like I tried portion control. That was not an effective combat strategy. I tried no carb. You know how many beef chow funs I freaking chomped down in Hong Kong? I do like 8 of those like a day, easy. You know, also doesn't help that my metabolism's freaking like 16 times as fast. There's no excuse. But I'm also pushing 40, right? I can't eat like how I used to. I'm not no longer a freaking athlete. But like you got to give yourself like, okay, so how am I gonna rally myself back? So I'll intermittent fast. I'll eat later in the day, right? You have to give yourself that game plan. The mental part is the most important part. If you don't have the fucking mental part down, you can have the whole schedule. You can have all the most optimized YouTube channels, YouTube titles. You can have all that. But if you're feeling like shit, you gotta like wake up feeling like freaking pump up. So let's get to that. If you guys are watching this, schedule a call because right now, like this, honestly speaking, this is legitimately it. When you put yourself completely transparent out there, now you got to go out there and deliver. I have jobs to deliver. Duru is going for a 300K product manager role by 9:15. She's out for a few days. Like, you know, my best striker on Liverpool due to LASIK surgery. Now we got like this weekend, we have to like basically get her up. But this is why people paid this rate to come through. Um, but like one more story of the day. Ping me if you have any type of negative affirmations. But what do you do with that information? Let's actually make it actionable. You have to write it down and you have to post it everywhere in the house that you can post it. If you put it on some Google or Notion doc, you can't reach to it fast enough. Okay. You got to go out there and think about like literally safety in your castle. You got to post it in your restroom. You got to go ahead and post it up by your closet. You got to post it up by your bedside, whatever it is. You got to have that shit posted and you got to have it very, very visible. The next thing is you got to record yourself and somehow get it onto your iPhone and as a playlist where you guys can, because you're telling yourself, even while you're sleeping, I have an affirmation playlist while I'm sleeping. And it's like it runs for like I think like 23 hours long, even though who's sleeping 23 hours straight anymore, right? You're telling yourself it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen for most of your waking time. And then when you go to sleep, you're probably telling yourself it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. So you gotta like freaking trade that shit out of you, you know? That's how you're gonna show up. Because when you want to show up to these interviews, I want you guys to be like a fucking athlete. Show up to these interviews. I really want you guys to watch this last part. Show up to these interviews and really visualize all the questions they're gonna ask you. And like visualize, manifest, they are gonna ask you these questions in this order. You're gonna give these answers, and they're gonna go out there and actually like you guys are going to be laughing, you guys are going to feel really good, and they're going to give you this offer that's above the rate. Visualize, manifest the whole freaking thing. The dating coaches that I'm in this coach call with, they freaking have that where it's like you're gonna meet that next guy, that next girl, and it's gonna be everything you ever wanted and more. It's gonna be so unexpected, blah 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 blah. Athletes, they do this shit and it's crazy. You know how many places that ball can go? How easily you can get freaking injured? You know, like, yeah. So like it's got to be like you have to have that entire sequence and you got to like you will forget. That's why you have to like talk about it. And I would say if you're gonna do that, make some fucking YouTube content off of it. Because you might as well go out there and get a fan club. Jesus Christ, Kaiser. You know what your biggest opportunity is?
What is
Your
it?
Cantonese. There's not that many Cantonese like freaking like content creators. I mean, it's also culturally speaking, we don't really put ourselves out there like that. In Korea, everybody's putting themselves out there, dude. Firefighters are out there making IG channels. Special forces guys.
Crazy.
Teachers are freaking influencers. The freaking guy selling the tteokbokki on the street, that guy's a freaking influencer, man. So like make all that shit, dude. You guys got this. This is a lot of work, but that's why you also have to tell yourself, like, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna like your affirmation is I'm here to get a product manager job to deliver the highest value to a team. I want to go out there and I want to empower my head of product, my chief product officer, all of my stakeholders. I want to go out there and really help fuel the team. I want to go out there and help these people out. I mean, they hear that shit. You already beat out 90% of the competition by just trying to get a freaking meta on their logo, a meta logo on their freaking LinkedIn, right? It's like, okay, he's here to like freaking help. Like shit, like we need some fucking help, like they need help. Like they're freaking working this week. There's a lot of people that's working this weekend too. So I'm here to go out there and help. And the best way I know how to help is number one is I'm gonna demonstrate I understand what those people are going through with YouTube content. You guys are gonna go ahead and make YouTube content about all those negative affirmations. Talk about it like you're talking to somebody else. You guys are AI instructors here, right? Remember? Right? Whenever I have a problem, I'll just talk about it like somebody else, like, you guys can go out there because if they start looking to you as a motivational resource, so if somebody's like a great YouTube video would just be like for Kaiser right now is like people ask me all the time, how do I manage taking care of my family, launching an app? How do I do it all? This is my time management system, right? They start looking to you at a resource and then they start interviewing you like 2 days later. Oh shit, there's that guy. Like you're creating your fan base. But now that you gotta like a lot of boot camps won't put this transparently because they're like, man, yeah, now you got to review 40 resumes. Now you got to go ahead and give these guys advice. Now they got to actually get real screens, right? Now you got to go out there. They won't actually go out there and do that. And I was like, but if you did that, everybody would just come pay up, bro. So if you guys did this, everybody would just be rushing to hire you guys because your competition is so shitty, So how do I manage this? Or like, how do I deal with all these challenges, right? You guys can also go out there and reference it. One of the biggest challenges heads and directors of product are dealing with right now, managing investor expectations. Where's our money? Right? It's like, so one of my students actually just had this problem right now, how to manage investor expectations. This is just an example. Be this resource for your team because you should be. That's how you make yourself indispensable because in every layoff, there's still people that are never going to get laid off. If I was on the job right now, do you think I'd get laid off? Probably not, right? I'd be like every type of freaking support, emotional support, psychological support, mental support. I'd be your gym buddy, right? I'm like your Korean drinking buddy. I'd be the all-around guy that you need. Like, no, man, we can't take out Rich, dude. Freaking morale. What they say in Chinese, hey, like the morale would be so low. Like, we at least need the troops that are still able to hold weapons to still be able to fight. Like, you gotta be that person, right? Be that person. And then yeah, then like all of a sudden people are rushing to hire you guys, right? People are rushing to hire you guys. People are contacting you guys because people have just been watching your shit. It just makes it so much easier versus like, when you guys called, people have a much more fun. I've had people from other boot camps come and join us, and they're like, the calls are so much better here. Because I was like, because when they call other boot camps, they don't know what's going on. They've never seen the inside of the curriculum. You know how many lessons we're adding in? So if my competitor wanted to screenshot that thing up the yin yang, 3 days later, it's completely different. We've already iterated, So anybody that's copying your roadmap, by the next week, you guys are making a better roadmap,
Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to give you guys all of my time as I can to go out there and get the best damn job. Know this, your competition right now is drinking, doing nothing, watching Netflix. You guys are freaking grinding. Post up on thing. Yo, Kai, you up? Rely on each other. You guys are in the trenches together anyways, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's all get it. There's so much money out there. There really is. I'm showing you guys every single day. Freaking kid made a 3 out of 5 star porn addiction app. Deaf, not stressing out about getting a round one interview. So, but you guys have to leave some time to build the side projects, and you guys are going to make videos off of that, right? It's like how you can quickly. It doesn't have to be like Kai, like it doesn't have to be like exclusive. You can just say like how to launch this, like how to go ahead and discover niches to go out there and learn Lovable faster, right? Like you don't have this idea for an app, but you're trying to figure out this app, right? They'll be watching it because who on the job right now is not thinking about freaking like if you want to know why people that are influencers and side hustles, you want to know why another reason why it's easier for them to get a job. Because secretly during the interview, I've seen this shit as a recruiter. They're like, how'd you start your YouTube channel? What YouTube channel makes the most amount of money for you? So like what else do you do? It's like, yeah, so like, LinkedIn ended up giving me an endorsement deal for like how much? They're paying me right now about like $75 per post. And if I get more than that, it's like $275. Holy shit, you think I can do that? Because all of a sudden they're thinking to themselves, we need to hire this girl because I'm trying to get LinkedIn to pay me, right? When you're making like when you're like clearing cash, like yeah, like they're looking at you like a resource like, yo, shit, I would love to go out there and work with this guy. So there's all this shit that we can do. I have a lot of content to go out there and create for y'all today. And if you're talking about consuming content, it's coming down all over this weekend. Um, and I'm recording myself recording content. I leave, we eat the whole animal here. We're leaving no crumbs on the table at all. I'm recording myself like, all right, just recorded one dude that like I'm recording myself recording freaking content. So like, let's make money by Christmas. It's gonna be great. All right, let's get it, guys. I got.
Yeah, man. That's I hope, dude. I'm
No,
so
no, no, no,
curious.
no, 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 no. Everybody that everybody, whatever gets promoted gets sold. Everybody that does this feels the same way. We gotta enroll a brand new number every quarter at Product Gym. And I'll tell you guys the same shit. Every quarter, I'm like, man, so like I tell myself the same shit too. I mean, who the hell would I was like, you know how much free shit we given away through the years? Like, I always tell myself like, you know, every quarter we have a quarter that's better than the previous quarter. And like clockwork, the first 2 weeks of the new quarter, our marketing strategy does not work. And then we freak out. And we're like, nobody wants this job anymore, blah, 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 blah. And then like somewhere along the line of like, the second month of the quarter, we innovate again. And we think about it like, oh man, maybe we gave way too much free shit, maybe our competition, and then we innovate again. And then boom, we go out there and we have another record-breaking quarter. And I'm like, yo, but if you worked at Uniqlo, you can't expect the people to buy the same shit last freaking season as you are having this season, right? Like if you're the winning team for like baseball, you can't expect to like go into the freaking new season because your competition already copied you. That's fine. The copycats will always copy. The real innovators will always be ahead. That's why Ferrari and Lamborghini is always going to be the premier sports cars. you know, the copy because they're always just getting really good at copying. Unless you're China and you just got unlimited state resources where the copier becomes better than the people they copy. you know? So you have your deliverables, post up those deliverables. I'm going to tell you guys when this video is ready on YouTube. Your greatest competitive advantage is transparency. Because when they're asking all of your competitors all these other questions and they're still thinking to themselves, maybe we can trust, you guys are going to have proof. This is how I learned freaking Lovable. This is how I learned end-to-end. It's like when they're asking you, like, tell me about a time when you had to overcome a weakness, you're going to have proof. I'll show you. And then somebody else is going to come up with some bullshit answer that doesn't sound very good, or somebody's going to come up with some really good sounding answer, but they know they're still lying. That just tells me you're a psychopath because I knew you were lying. It was a really good lie. It was Oscar winning. You should actually be an actor, but you're gonna actually be like, I want you guys to have that raw emotion in there. It's like this NAN is not working. Right? Any other last thoughts before I go out there and stuff myself silly for Friday lunch?
Man, thanks for doing the call for us. Appreciate it, dude.
Thank you.
And I got you
Appreciate it.
guys. I told you guys, the people that put out the most work, they always get it. I've never had that problem before. And then the second batch of people, they're like, oh shit. It's like, yeah, because you should have just gotten work. That's all there is to it. We're gonna have to walk up that mountain either way. There's no car coming to pick us up. So just start trekking. If you got to rest, lie down. If you're feeling hungry, go eat. But then you get back up and and it's gonna suck. And it's gonna suck more the higher you get to the mountain. But once you get to the summit, then you're good.
Yeah.
But like, most people are like, I'm just gonna wait. Maybe these guys are gonna carve out the path, and then blah 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 blah. And they're watching you guys climb up, right? But by that time, it's gonna snow, it's gonna rain, and then they're gonna have to carve their own route. But you guys are gonna be good because you guys are gonna be at the fucking top of the fucking route. So more of the story is start walking. You know?
Sure.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a good weekend. I'll be available on the weekend too. See you guys later. Bye.
Thanks, man. See you, Kyle.